For decades, he was the untouchable king of music, fashion, and culture. Sean "Diddy" Combs built a billion-dollar empire on the motto, "Can't stop, won't stop." But behind the platinum records and legendary all-white parties, federal prosecutors and dozens of accusers painted a dark picture of coercion, violence, and a hidden world of sexual exploitation. A world that revolved around secret multi-day events he allegedly called Freakoffs. This is the story of how one of music's biggest icons was finally brought down by a sprawling federal investigation, a bombshell trial, and the women who refused to be silenced any longer. We're breaking down how the kingdom of Diddy came crashing down. To understand the magnitude of the fall, you first have to grasp the incredible heights Sean Combs reached. Born in Harlem, his is a classic story of pure ambition. He started as an intern at Uptown Records and quickly shot up the ranks, with a golden ear for hits and a genius for marketing. But Combs was never going to work for someone else. In 1993, he launched Bad Boy Records, and with it, a cultural dynasty. He didn't just sell music. He sold a lifestyle. He discovered and molded superstars like the notorious B.I.G. and Mary J. Blige. His own album, No Way Out, turned Puff Daddy into a household name, defining the flashy, shiny suit era of the late 90s. It was all about lavish videos, big spending, and even bigger success. But music was just the start. He conquered fashion with his Sean John clothing line. He turned Ciroc vodka from an unknown brand into a nightlife essential. He was P. Diddy, then just Diddy, a master of reinvention who became a movie producer, a TV network founder with Revolt, and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He crafted an image of black excellence and unstoppable power. His parties were the stuff of legend, drawing A-listers and cementing his place as a cultural gatekeeper. But according to a flood of lawsuits and the evidence laid out in a federal trial, these parties had a dark and secret purpose. The first major crack in Diddy's bulletproof image appeared on November 16, 2023. His former longtime partner, the Yar, singer Cassandra Ventura, better known as Cassie, filed a bombshell lawsuit. For over a decade, the public saw them as a power couple. But behind closed doors, Ventura alleged a terrifying story of abuse, control, and trafficking. Ventura, who met Combs when she was just 19 and he was 37, claimed he took complete control of her life from day one. Her lawsuit painted a grim picture, alleging that Combs subjected her to a violent relationship that included beatings, drug abuse, and total professional domination. But the most jaw-dropping allegations were about what she claimed Combs called Freakoffs. Ventura accused Combs of forcing her to have sex with male sex workers, events he would allegedly film. According to the lawsuit, her participation was positioned as a test of loyalty and a condition for him to work on her music career. The complaint also detailed a violent 2016 incident where Combs allegedly punched and kicked her in a hotel hallway. After she tried to leave him, Combs, through his lawyer, shot back, calling the claims offensive and outrageous, and accusing her of a $30 million shakedown. Then, just a day after the suit was filed, they settled for an undisclosed amount. Combs wished her well publicly, and his lawyer insisted the settlement wasn't an admission of guilt. For a hot minute, it looked like the storm might just blow over. It didn't. The floodgates were creaking open. For months, it was a classic case of he said, she said. Combs denied everything, and the settlement kept the details under wraps. Then, in May 2024, everything exploded. CNN got its hands on surveillance footage from the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles, dated March 5, 2016. The silent, grainy video was horrifying, and it appeared to show the exact assault Cassie described in her lawsuit. The footage shows a woman, identified as Ventura, trying to get away down a hotel hallway. Suddenly, a man identified as Combs, wearing only a towel, runs after her. He grabs her by the neck, throws her to the floor, kicks her, and then kicks her again before trying to drag her back down the hall. The video was brutal and undeniable. The LA County DA's office called the images extremely disturbing, but said the statute of limitations meant they couldn't press charges for the 2016 incident. With his back against the wall, Combs's denials were worthless. He took to Instagram with a slickly produced video, staring into the camera. "My behavior on that video is inexcusable," he said. "I take full responsibility." He claimed he was disgusted and had sought therapy and rehab. He ended by saying, "I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry." The public wasn't buying it. Critics hammered him for only apologizing after there was irrefutable proof and for never even saying Cassie's name. Her lawyers blasted the apology as a pathetic and self-serving stunt. Instead of putting out the fire, the video and his response just poured gasoline on it. Cassie's lawsuit and that horrifying video opened a floodgate. Dozens of accusers, both men and women, came forward with their own lawsuits, telling disturbingly similar stories of alleged abuse, drugging, and sexual assault, with some claims going back decades. One of the most detailed suits came from music producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones, who worked on Diddy's The Love album. He filed a $30 million lawsuit accusing the mogul of sexual harassment and drugging, claiming he was forced to procure sex workers and engage in unwanted sex acts. With the public outcry growing louder, federal authorities made their move. On March 25, 2024, Homeland Security investigations agents conducted massive, synchronized raids on Combs's mansions in Los Angeles and Miami. News helicopters broadcast stunning images of armed agents seizing phones, computers, and hard drives. This wasn't just about civil suits anymore. This was a massive federal criminal investigation, which culminated in Combs's arrest in Manhattan in September 2024. The details that came out during the trial were shocking, and they completely changed how the world saw this music mogul. If you want to see more deep dives into the stories that shake up the entertainment world, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Your support helps us keep digging. Now, let's get back to what prosecutors called the Combs enterprise. As the federal case took shape, a disturbing new term went mainstream: Freakoff. According to prosecutors and multiple accusers who testified at trial, this was the name Diddy himself gave to the elaborate, multi-day sex parties he orchestrated. As detailed in court, these weren't just wild parties. Witnesses testified they were highly structured events designed for Combs's gratification, often involving coercion, a cocktail of drugs like ecstasy and GHB, and the filming of the encounters. Accusers alleged that Combs would pressure victims, including Cassie Ventura and another woman known only as Jane, to perform sex acts with male sex workers he flew in from across the country. The logistics were allegedly handled by what prosecutors called the Combs enterprise. Employees were tasked with booking travel for sex workers, arranging hotel rooms, and even scheduling IV fluid drips to help people recover from the drug-fueled marathons. During the federal raids, authorities reportedly seized large quantities of lubricants and other supplies that accusers claimed were staples of these events. Producer Rodney Jones alleged that refusing to participate resulted in threats, while Cassie Ventura testified that her music career was held hostage to her compliance. The reason this case was so massive came down to one powerful legal tool: the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, or RICO. Originally made to take down the mafia, the RICO Act lets prosecutors target an entire criminal enterprise. In this case, federal prosecutors argued that Sean Combs wasn't just an individual, but the head of the Combs enterprise, using his companies, staff, and resources to facilitate a pattern of crimes, including sex trafficking and drug distribution. However, building a RICO case has a very high bar. The 7-week trial began in May 2025 and was a media circus. The jury heard graphic and emotional testimony from Cassie Ventura and other accusers. Finally, in July 2025, the verdict came in. The jury found Sean Combs not guilty of the most serious charges: racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. It was a stunning acquittal on the counts that could have sent him to prison for life. But he didn't walk away free. The jury found him guilty on 2 counts of a lesser charge: transportation for the purpose of prostitution, for flying women and sex workers across state lines for the Freakoffs. As of August 2025, the storm is over and the damage is permanent. While Sean Combs was acquitted of racketeering and sex trafficking, he was convicted of 2 federal felonies. The man who built an empire on an image of untouchable power now saw that empire in ruins. His business deals evaporated, his honorary degrees were revoked, and his name became a shorthand for one of the most sordid scandals in music history. The verdict was a mixed bag for everyone involved. Combs's family and lawyers claimed victory, having avoided a life sentence. But for his accusers, the 2 convictions represented a hard-won measure of accountability. The story of Sean Combs is no longer just about the music or the money. It's a chilling case study of power, celebrity, and the secrets that can hide in plain sight. For years, silence reigned. Now, shattered by the voices of those who came forward, the silence is gone for good, gone for good.